In the administrative divisions of France, the department is one of the three levels of government below the national level, between the region and the commune. There are 96 departments in metropolitan France and 5 overseas departments, which also are classified as regions. Departments are further subdivided into 342 arrondissements, themselves divided into cantons. The latter two have no autonomy and are used for the organization of public services and sometimes elections. France's departments are administered by elected general councils and their presidents, whose main areas of responsibility include the management of a number of social and welfare allowances, of junior high school buildings and technical staff, of local roads and school and rural buses, and a contribution to municipal infrastructures. Local services of the state administration are traditionally organized at departmental level, where the prefect represents the government. However, regions have gained importance in this regard since the 2000s, with some department-level services merged into region-level services. The departments were created in 1791 as a rational replacement of ancien copyright regime provinces in view of strengthening national unity. Almost all of them are therefore named after rivers, mountains or coasts rather than after historical or cultural territories, unlike regions, and some of them are commonly referred to by their two-digit postal code number, which was until recently used for all vehicle registration plates. They have inspired similar divisions in many of France's former colonies. In 2014, President François Section Hollande proposed to abolish general councils by 2020, which would maintain the departments as administrative divisions, but transfer their powers to other levels of governance. History. The first French territorial departments were proposed in 1665 by Marc Reynaud copyright d'Argenson to serve as administrative areas purely for the conseil copyrighted infrastructure administration. Before the French Revolution, France gained territory gradually through the annexation of a mosaic of independent entities. By the close of the ancien copyright regime, it was organized into provinces. During the period of the Revolution, these were dissolved, partly in order to weaken old loyalties. The modern departments, as all-purpose units of the government, were created on March 4, 1790 by the National Constituent Assembly to replace the provinces with what the Assembly deemed a more rational structure. Their boundaries served two purposes. Boundaries were deliberately chosen to break up France's historical regions in an attempt to erase cultural differences and build a more homogeneous nation. Boundaries were set so that any settlement in the country was within a day's ride of the capital of the department. This was a security measure, intended to keep the entire national territory under close control. This measure was directly inspired by the Great Terror, during which the government had lost control of many rural areas far from any center of government. The old nomenclature was carefully avoided in naming the new departments. Most were named after an area's principal river or other physical features. Even Paris was in the department of Seine. The number of departments, initially 83, was increased to 130 by 1809 with the territorial gains of the Republic and of the First French Empire. Following Napoleon's defeats in 1814 to 1815, the Congress of Vienna returned France to its pre-war size. The number of departments was reduced to 86, as 3 of the original departments had been split. In 1860, France acquired the county of Nice and Savoy, which led to the creation of 3 new departments. 2 were added from the new Savoyard territory, while the Department of Alpes-Maritimes was created from Nice and a portion of the Var department. The 89 departments were given numbers based on their alphabetical order. The Department of Bas-Rhin and parts of Meuse, Moselle, Vosges and Haute-Rhin was ceded to the German Empire in 1871, following France's defeat in the Franco-Prussian War. A small part of Haute-Rhin remained French, however, and became known as the Territoire de Belfort, and the remaining parts of Meuse and Moselle were merged into a new Meuse-Moselle department. When France regained the ceded departments after World War I, the Territoire de Belfort was not reintegrated into Haute-Rhin. In 1922, it became France's 90th department. Likewise, the Lorraine departments were not changed back to their original limits, and a new Moselle department was created on the regained territory, with slightly different limits than the pre-war department of the same name. The reorganization of Île-de-France and the division of Corsica added 6 more departments, raising the total to 96. Counting the 5 overseas departments, the total comes to 101 departments. In 2011, the overseas collectivity of Mayotte became the 101st department. General characteristics. The departmental seat of government is known as the prefecture or chef-lieu de copyright department and is generally a city of some importance roughly at the geographical center of the department. This was determined according to the time taken to travel on horseback from the periphery of the department. The goal was for the prefecture to be accessible by horseback from any town in the department within 24 hours. The prefecture is not necessarily the largest city in the department. For instance, in Saône-et-Loire department the capital is Mars-Saint-Con, but the largest city is Chalon-sur-Saône. Departments are divided into one or more arrondissements. The capital of an arrondissement is called a subprefecture or chef-lieu d'arrondissement. Each department is administered by a general council, an assembly elected for 6 years by universal suffrage, with the president of the council as executive of the department. Before 1982, the executive of a department was the prefect who represents the government of France in each department and is appointed by the President of France. The prefect is assisted by one or more sub-prefects based in the sub-prefectures of the department. The departments are further divided into communes, governed by municipal councils. As of 2013, there were 36,681 communes in France. In the overseas territories, some communes play a role at departmental level. Paris, the county Euro-unregistered trademark's capital city, is a commune as well as a department. In continental France, the median land area of a department is 5,965 km², which is 2.5 times the median land area of a ceremonial county of England and Wales and slightly more than 3.5 times the median land area of a county of the United States. At the 2001 census, the median population of a department in continental France was 511,012 inhabitants, which is 21 times the median population of a U.S. county, but less than 2/3 of the median population of a ceremonial county of England and Wales. Most of the departments have an area of between 4,000 and 8,000 km², and a population between 320,000 and 1 million. The largest in area is Gironde, while the smallest is the city of Paris. The most populous is Nord and the least populous is Lozère. The departments are numbered, their 2-digit numbers appear in postal codes, in INSEE codes and on vehicle number plates. Initially, the numbers corresponded to the alphabetical order of the names of the departments, but several changed their names, so the correspondence became less exact. There is no number 20, but 2A and 2B instead, for Corsica. Corsican postal codes or addresses in both departments do still start with 20, though. The 2-digit code 98 is used by Monaco. Together with the ISO 3166-1 Alpha 2 country code FR, the numbers form the ISO 3166-2 country subdivision codes for the metropolitan departments. The overseas departments get 3 digits a euro, for example, 971 for Guadeloupe. Originally, the relationship between the departments and the central government was left somewhat ambiguous. While citizens of each department elected their own officials, the local governments were subordinated to the central government, becoming instruments of national integration. By 1793, however, the revolutionary government had turned the departments into transmission belts for policies enacted in Paris. With few exceptions, the departments had this role until the early 1960s. Party political preferences. These maps cannot be used as a useful resource of voter preferences, because general councils are elected on a 2-round system, which drastically limits the chances of fringe parties, for as long as they are not supported on one of the 2 rounds by a moderate party. After the 1992 election, the left had a majority in only 21 of the 100 departments. After the 2011 election, the left dominated 61 of the 100 departments. Key to the parties: diverse center equals independence of the center or democratic movement, diverse right equals independent conservatives, Divers Gauche equals independent left-wing politicians, MPF equals Movement for France, Nouveau Centre equals New Centre, PCF equals French Communist Party, PRG equals Radical Party of the Left, PS equals Socialist Party, UDF equals Union for French Democracy succeeded by Democratic Movement, UMP equals Union for a Popular Movement, Future. The removal of one or more levels of local government has been discussed for some years. In particular, the option of removing the departmental level. Fra copyright Dar copyright Rick Lefebvre, spokesman for the UMP, said in December 2008 that the fusion of the departments with the regions was a matter to be dealt with soon. This was soon refuted by a Permil de Yard Balayda and Gar copyright Rad Longuet, members of the Committee for the Reform of Local Authorities, known as the Balayda Committee. In January 2008, the Commission for Freeing French Development, known as the Attali Commission, recommended that the departmental level of government should be eliminated within 10 years. Nevertheless, the Balayda Committee has not retained this proposition and does not advocate the disappearance of the departments, but simply favors the voluntary grouping of departments, which it suggests also for the regions, with the aim of bringing the number of the latter down to 15. This committee advocates, on the contrary, the suppression of the cantons. Maps and tables, current departments, each department has a coat of arms with which they are commonly associated, but not all are officially recognized or used. In some departments they are used, but in others a logo or emblem is used. Former departments of the current territory of France, departments of French Algeria. Unlike the rest of French-controlled Africa, Algeria was officially incorporated into France from 1848 until its independence in 1962. Departments in former French colonies, departments of the Napoleonic Empire in Europe. There are a number of former departments in territories conquered by France during the French Revolution and Napoleonic Empire that are now not part of France. Notes for Table 7, where a Napoleonic department was composed of parts from more than one country, the nation-state containing the prefecture is listed. Please expand this table to list all countries containing significant parts of the department. Territories that were a part of Austrian Netherlands were also a part of Holy Roman Empire. The bishopric of Basel was a German prince-bishopric, not to be confused with the adjacent Swiss canton of Basel. The territories of the Republic of Venice were lost to France, becoming the Septinsular Republic, a nominal vassal of the Ottoman Empire, from 1800–07. After reverting to France at the Treaty of Tilsit, these territories then became a British protectorate, as the United States of the Ionian Islands. Maastricht was a condominium of the Dutch Republic and the Bishopric of Liege. On June 6, 1805, as a result of the annexation of the Ligurian Republic, Tenero was abolished and its territory divided between the departments of Marengo, Montenot and Stura. Before becoming the Department of Apennines, the Republic of Genoa was converted to a puppet successor state, the Ligurian Republic. Before becoming the Department of Arno, the Grand Duchy of Tuscany was converted to a puppet successor state, the Kingdom of Etruria. Rome was known as the Department du Tiber until 1810. Before becoming the departments of Bouches du Rhin, Bouches de l'Sort, Bouches de la Meuse, Bouches de l'Isle, Ems Occidental, Frise, Issel Super Copyright Ria and Zuidetse Copyright E, these territories of the Dutch Republic were converted to a puppet successor state, the Batavian Republic. Then those territories that had not already been annexed, along with the Prussian county of East Frisia, were converted to another puppet state, the Kingdom of Holland. Before becoming the Department of Simplon, the Ra Copyright Publique des Citoyens was converted to a revolutionary Ra Copyright Publique du Valais which was swiftly incorporated into the puppet Helvetic Republic until 1802 when it became the independent Hellenic Republic. In the months before LIP was formed, the arrondissements of Ries and Ma 1/4 NSTER were part of Issel Super Copyright Ria, the arrondissement of Stinfurt was part of Bouches de l'Isle and the arrondissement of Nainhorst was part of Ems Occidental. See also, 130 departments of the First French Empire, ISO 3166-2, FR, references. External links